What's up, everyone? Welcome back to a new walkthrough. Today we're going to be using the new GLM 5.2 model in Notion. And what we're going to do is build a content library, and then a block series, and build some templates. So as you can see, I already have a page here in my Notion that I'm going to be working on. And if you don't know what Notion is, think of it like Google Drive and Google Docs and Google Spreadsheets, all powered by AI, all in one place, infinitely customizable. So it's really choose your own adventure, and I'm going to go down a path with my adventure, and it's something you can use yourself or tweak. So first, I'm going to just create a simple step-by-step of what we're going to be doing in this video, and you can skip through and come back as you like. But so yeah, if you don't know, when you use Notion, you use the backslash or slash, and it pulls up your menu. So I'm just going to create a simple heading, steps for the video, and then we're going to use the slash again, type bulleted list. So we're going to create the content library, then we're going to create a blog template, and then we're going to create a blog series, and yeah, then I think after that we will also do editing, just to show you how the models in Notion can be used to edit your content too. So down here, this little guy with the cowboy hat, that's Notion AI, and this is your little AI buddy or partner. You have access to all of these models currently. So today we're going to be doing and using GLM 5.2 from Z.AI. It's their new flagship model. It's ridiculously fast. And I'll show you how to build the content library now. So first we're going to do, this will kind of be our project page, let's say. It's good to have one of these, just kind of lay out what you're going to do. So you want to hit the slash, and it's called a database. That's essentially Notion's version of a spreadsheet. So inline, I'll show you that after. That'll create a spreadsheet literally within this page, which is useful. But first, I want to create a database or spreadsheet that's a full. So it's important to think of Notion also as a builder. It's not just a writing assistant. It's not a chatbot. It's also something that can help you build. So now we're in the database, and it's important to think of Notion as not just a chatbot, but think of it as something that can build for you. So yes, you can use it as a chatbot with the Notion AI down here. You can use the AI to help you build. And this database is essentially a spreadsheet. So we're going to use the AI here to help us build this spreadsheet. So if you ever built spreadsheets, then it should be pretty familiar, but now we're going to be able to do it with the power of AI. So we're going to call this our content library. And you don't have to worry about filling this out yourself for now. What we're going to do instead is use GLM 5.2, and I'm going to give it a prompt to build the content library. I already have my own and a little smoothie break here. So what we want to do is I'm going to kind of write this in like Markdown because there's going to be a lot of steps. So that's also a little tip. You can write your prompts in Markdown, which basically means use the hashtag for each step. So we are going to be building a content library. It will have a number of columns, types of columns, and so these will be like publish date, name of blog, blog topic, status, like idea, review, editing, published. Let's call drafting, editing, published. And then also let's put a column for the URL when it's complete. And then we also, let's say, checklists for each platform. So let's say there would be one for, let's say, WordPress blog. Then let's say maybe we do a reel for TikTok. That's not real, TikTok video. IG reel, whatever, TikTok short, let's see, YouTube short. Those are the main ones, and then maybe like we also post to LinkedIn. So those are really the main things you're going to need. Group it by, then this is another important part of the prompt. Group it, group by status, idea, etc. So that will show you how that'll determine how the blog organizes itself, and you can always change that later. But so I really want to test this out with GLM 5.2 because, like I said, this model absolutely flies. So I'm curious how fast it does this. So yeah, let's put that prompt in and let's let it build. And while it builds, take a little smoothie break again. And I want you to watch it build. So GLM 5.2 is specifically good at agentic tasks, meaning it's very good at following steps. And it just literally one-shot that build in, you're watching in real time. It took like 10 seconds. So if you were to do that by hand, yeah, it would take a while. And let's just close that for a second so you can see it. So we have the name of the blog. I like putting the publish date first. This will be like your calendar. The name of the blog. I like having the topic here. We don't have any blog topics yet. We can put that in. Status. There we go. We have different statuses. And if you want to change like these colors around, you can. You can do like green for drafting. I don't know, blue for editing. Publish. Make it purple. I don't know. Idea. Leave it gray since it's the gray area. It's just an idea. You can literally customize this in so many ways. We don't have to go through all of that right now. But now you can see, we'll have different colors for their statuses. Then we have the name of the blog. This will be where we also write the blog. What's very cool about Notion is that you can actually write the blog within the spreadsheet itself. I'll show you. So let's put drafting. Let's put just test. We'll come up with the blog series in a moment. Test blog. And then you can also check these off. See, it's very simple to use. I'll put the URL here. I like to group these together. Sometimes I group them in like a priority. WordPress is most important, then TikTok, maybe YouTube is actually more important. And adding a new column yourself is as easy as doing that. You have a number of selections here. I would not get too carried away with everything. Stick to the basics. You can really get into the weeds of it. I'm not going to right now because you don't need to for a simple database or spreadsheet. But yeah, you can actually now write, I keep moving myself around here, but you can actually write the blog here. And this also expands. So you have yourself a little page here. You don't have to go create a whole new page. And you can edit this here. You can reorganize it. You can do whatever you want. And you can also use AI here. And AI will, it'll help you assist in terms of writing. But before we start filling out this database, let's go back to our content library page. So now you see we have our database here. A little smoothie break. We have this here. And like I said before, what you can do is even create an inline database version of that. So let me move myself to the left. That's probably a better idea because I'm going to keep pulling that up. So I have another content library, not to be confused with this one. So let's go with that one. And now you can see you have yourself the content library within the page, in line. I'm sorry, I keep moving myself around here. I just don't know where the best place to put myself is. and you can create new pages in here. So now not only do you have the standalone view of your spreadsheet or database, you now have the database in line with everything else, kind of part of your workflow here. So that doesn't even have to be on the same page. It just is for right now. So yeah, that's a cool little tip I like. Sometimes if you just want to like view your whole project instead of just having a segmented view of your spreadsheet, but it's right there. So the next thing we're going to be doing is I have a little checklist for my blog prompt. It's one that I use myself. I just have it written down up here. That's what I'm looking up. So anyways, the blog template. So let's create, so this little plus symbol allows you to just create a little, it's kind of like hitting enter. So we're going to create a new page, and we're going to call it new blog template 1. And what's very cool also about Notion is that you can use these pages as skills. So if you're familiar with using skills in like Claude or ChatGPT or whatever, it becomes a skill and like an agentic workflow. So if you use with AI right here, and you can use AI as a skill. So or instruction, that's like a guide for everything. I wouldn't use instruction. There's a separate page for that. But this is what we want. Use as AI skill. So as you can see, this page will define a skill for Notion AI, and you can mention it in when you open your AI here. And we'll get to that in a moment. But first, let's build the blog template. I think I should just make myself a little smaller here. So there we go. So first of all, let's do the blog. I have my template. Let's create a blog template here on this page. Blog template is as follows. And if you don't know, you can also ask. So we'll need like a SEO centric title. We'll need an intro. We can have a little intro bullet point segment talking about the main topics of the blog. Then we can have our H1. We can have let's say 2 to 3 H2s. Those are the headers if you're familiar with blog writing. Full body paragraphs. We don't want like cheap, thin content. Full body paragraphs. Let's say aim for 1,000 words, and you can really customize this template any way you like. I just kind of want to show you something quick. Let's see. Let's just ask any other suggestions for the blog template here. Let's just see what GLM comes up with for us. It's going to focus around Yoast. That's just the SEO tool in WordPress. Rank Math is another one. And this is what I'm saying. It builds out things insanely quick. Look how quickly it just built out an entire blog template. Also, I do have my other template where it also gives captions for social media, an image prompt. I don't think this one's really necessary, but we're gonna take this out. We don't need this part of it. We're not writing it in ChatGPT. We're gonna write it right here. Tags. This gives you your SEO elements. That's the Yoast part. This is my bio. It can be your own bio. You can change that. Do a little table, comparison table. That's something I have in my main template. So it's also pulling from my own template, which a little easier. But you can take this, copy it, and tweak it to your own liking. I don't always stick with this template. It's just to get things started, just to get the blog drafted, and then you can always tweak it. But yeah, it's generally a decent format, pretty standard stuff. So there you go. So now we're back in our main project page. We have our content library now. We have a blog template. We have our inline database here. And now we're going to come up with our blog series for the month. And we're going to let GLM do the research. We're going to let GLM do the actual writing of the blog. And then we're going to let GLM actually edit the blog in a new chat. The benefit of AI chats having amnesia and not remembering things from chat to chat, like in Notion, some platforms are better now with that, but still sometimes they don't have any memory of a previous session. Notion AI, when you start a new chat, it will not remember. It won't remember. It'll be like a whole new day. So now let's go back. Oops. Let's go back to our page here. I keep moving myself around. I don't know where to put myself. So let's create a new page. Let's call it blog research. We don't need a new chat. Let's just stick with the one we're using for now. So let's, we can use Markdown again. Research for upcoming blog series for July. Topics will cover which AI models are coming out and how they will assist marketers in digital advertising with building, let's say, ad sets, ad copy, using it in platforms like Notion. Let's also say SEO work, geo work, let's say research for brands, web crawling, competitor analysis. What else do we do in marketing these days? Let's say reporting. Let's say creating decks for clients. And yeah, writing API scripts for reverse LLM queries. That's a big one. Basically, what that means like if you're using an API from like ChatGPT or OpenAI, like you can actually just give it 10, 20, 30 queries to search for and see what comes up for those queries. That's kind of like the new GEO, generative optimization, if you will. Similar to keyword ranking, but it's now like kind of like the phrase. But let's throw that in keyword research. And automation. Okay, so that's a lot of topics to cover. Let's see, each blog will cover a new model and how it affects those topics. Models to cover per blog. Let's see, Fable 5, that's a new one. That came out briefly and then got put on the back burner. Let's see, ChatGPT will be coming out. ChatGPT 5.6 and their new line of models. Let's say GLM 5.2. Those are kind of the newer ones. GLM 5.2 and other, let's say, open source models. I mean, Anthropic is Claude, so you can also just Claude, Fable 5, ChatGPT, OpenAI. Research these from the web. Each blog should have 2 to... Oh, we're not doing the blog yet. We're just doing the research. So include links in the research. Segment the page with child pages for each blog. So I want it, so create a child page for each blog with the respective research. So that's a really long prompt, but that is what these new agentic models are really good at doing. They're good. It's not just how do I do this or what about this. It's giving them a series of instructions that they can go complete. That is where they're powerful, insanely powerful. If you were to throw this in ChatGPT a year ago, it would probably break or not return very good results. GLM 5.2, on the other hand, this is what it is built for. So that's a lot of things for it to do, but I'm confident that it's going to do it. So let's take a little smoothie break and let it do it. Okay, there we go. And if you see that, it's searching all three models in parallel. It's doing it at the same time, is what that means. And now it's searching Anthropic here. It's doing its web search. Just look how it's chewing through like pages right now. And this is just the research. We're not writing the blog. And this is where I'm truly blown away by how fast and powerful GLM 5.2 is. And you can use it however you want in Notion, but this is one example, especially if you're doing content. And it should be content that you're doing for a client, you know, if you're researching a topic that you're not familiar with. Okay, it's done the research. Now it's creating the 3 child pages, so it's going to create it right here. One for each blog and model. It's doing it in parallel. And I'm not fast forwarding. This is all happening in real time. It's been about 30, 40 seconds maybe. And this is only getting faster and better. Fable 5 wasn't here until it got taken out. And this is with the Notion business account. And what's very cool about that is that you get access to all these models included in your business plan. I think it's like $25 or $26 a month, but it's included. And you also get like 300 credits to build agents. Would not build your agents with a very powerful model like this. That'll cost a lot of money. But yes, you also could create agents, which could help you organize, you know, your spreadsheets, databases, whatever, include some automations. So yeah, anyway. It's created, okay, it's adding an overview, title together, all set. Here's what I built, it even knows my name, so smart. So blog 1, Claude Fable 5, blog 2 covers the new, that's exactly right. And then open source models, MCP, that's a good one. MCP integration with Notion is very, very useful. I'll cover that in another video. But all the platforms have that. ChatGPT has, or Codex has it, and ChatGPT has a Notion MCP. Claude has MCP. Hermes agent has MCP. MCP tools and agents are like peanut butter and jelly. Like they go so well together. So enough talking. Let's actually, didn't really organize. There's one mess up. Didn't put it in order. So let's just see its research. It's got its links and sources all listed here. It's talking about benchmarks. That's great. I mean, I'm just going through this very quickly, but as you can see, it's really done some in-depth research here on Fable 5 and how it applies to our topics that we gave it. All sources, and if you want to just quickly skim through the tabs, just highlight these little lines on the side, and you can just skip to different sections. And yeah, so this is, I mean, it kind of is already a blog, but it will help us actually write these blogs when we're ready to, which we will be in a moment. Yes, and ChatGPT is going to have that ultra reasoning mode. The new ChatGPT models seem very promising. 5.6 will have. I'm not really sure why they're calling it 5.6. Like it feels like a brand new like GPT-6, but they're not doing that. They're going with this 5.6, but they're saying it's testing above the Mythos model, and apparently should be released in a few weeks after it goes through some earlier releases. So anyway, that was just announced yesterday. And then, yeah, then we have our open source research. We have our GLM 5.2 research. Just some information about that. So, yeah. We have our research done. Very good. And yeah, these open source models and GLM 5.2 priced much more competitively for like this kind of like massive grunt research work. And also GLM has a coding plan. It's like starts at like $15 a month. I've been trying it out in Hermes Agent. It's very good, and I've been using it here. But it's not going to charge me the API cost here. That's an important distinction. In Notion, it is part of the business plan. It's not going to charge me extra to use it. So we have our three. Okay. Now we're going to actually put this into our content library. So let's get rid of this one. If you want to ever edit something, these 6 little dots on the side, you can drag it, move it. But if you click it, it kind of gives you more options. And we're just going to move this one to the trash. And if you ever accidentally delete something, you can recover it from the trash. And then there's also a cool little trick called version history, where you can just reset it to different previous versions. So, I don't know really where to put myself here. Okay, so now that we have our research done, let's put 3 empty child pages in. No, we don't need child, but let's put 3 empty. We're not. That's the wrong. Let's put 3 rows in the content library as drafting for these 3 blogs. Leave them empty for now until we write. So let's have it set up our database here. And I'll show you quickly how the statuses work. So let's say we move one to edit. So we're going to start editing one, right? Let's start with GPT 5.6. Editing. So now we can group it. So watch this. If we click the settings here and go to group, we want to group by the status. Okay. And then it's going to actually segment it out. See that? Struggling with where to put my screen. So now we can actually determine what we want to show and the order of it. So we don't need no status. I like to go bottom up, or I guess I like to see the most recent stuff up top. We do want published. Published would eventually be the top one. We do want idea. We don't have any ideas currently. We already worked out our ideas. But that's how you now edit your spreadsheet or database. Now it's much cleaner, and you can actually set this to be like, if you want like certain blog topics, like how you have your status here with like selectable, like multi-select, you can do that too. And you can change it like that. So multi-select instead. That just gave it a name that it already was, but let's say maybe we're gonna do a lot of ChatGPT topics. And you can edit it like that. You can change the color. So now we have now we got that. Let's do one for let's see, this one's open source, right? An open source topic. So now we have an open source topic, and then let's do one for Claude or Anthropic, whatever. So yeah, you can create as many of those as you want. So you can write it out, you can do multi-select, you can change it, you can freeze, you know, it's very similar to how a spreadsheet already works. And now we have ourselves a little content library. You know, I'll take a little screenshot here. Yeah, so save that for later. Anyway, so we can close that. All right, so now we're actually up to the point where we're writing the blog. So let's start with the ChatGPT one. So this is where that agentic workflow we created works. And if you remember, this is it, the new blog template one, and it's a skill. So now, and you can, the little one trick here is that if you do have an inline database, you need to reset how it's set up. So it would be the same thing. You go into group here. We don't need that. Get published turned on, and that's the order we want. So anyway, if you do have the inline database, you just have to kind of reset it. Anyway, let's go back to our content library. Let's open up the page, and now I'm still going to use the same chat here, but this would probably be a good place to start a new chat. But we'll do that when we start editing. So let's okay. So using our blog template, there it is. Now you can select the skill. So that's how easy that is. Let's write out the full blog based on the research for what was it? Now it's going to use those 2 pages, right, as its reference point for writing a blog. And let's let it go. And let's take a little smoothie break. Okay, so there you go. It's confirming that it read everything. It knows what to do. And now it's going to actually write this blog for us. So let's let it think for a second and write our blog. For those wondering, this is a chocolate banana almond smoothie. So we have our blog all done. The blog has been written. Pretty solid. I don't know if I would actually take time to read through this if I was going to use it. But as you can see, it followed the instructions. It even has our different captions for social media. Gave us an image prompt. Did that all in 30 seconds. Now, you know, I would warn you, you do not want to start pumping out content. Like, you really do need to make sure that it's quality before you do it. But this will help. This helps in terms of the drafting process. And okay, so we'll come back to this chat in a second. I want to show you the editing process now, and you could even use like Opus 4.8 to edit. I kind of want to stick with the GLM 5.2 just for now, but a good idea could be you use Opus 4.8 to edit the content. But I don't really have an editing template. You could create one. We could create one real quick actually. Let's go back. So now we can do the same thing, create a new page. Let's call it editing template 1. Your job is to review blogs. Check for repetitiveness. Check for generic content and phrases. There should be a blog title. If there isn't one, write one. Check the headers. Check that they use. I would also, kind of have a keyword database for yourself. That's not in this video, but usually I will set up like a keyword database. So I actually know what keywords it's using. I mean, we kind of have a general idea anyway, because we already came up with the topic, but And then anyway, let's see. Insert places for placeholders. Oops. Placeholders for images. What else? What else should we include for our editing template? Let's just ask the editor. This will be editing it. Yep, that's all accurate. That's all good stuff. Yeah, sure. Yeah, add it. Yeah, add it. I'm just kind of breezing through this. I would be a little more selective. That is one bug with Notion. Sometimes it's called old string. That is sometimes when it updates pages. That's what I've discovered. There's a there you go. It's the old string bug. It sometimes does not. Yep. There you go. Yep. There it is. So that's one thing to know. So if you do ask it to update a page, sometimes it goes through that little bug. There you go. So if that happens, it's called old str, old string, and it's just a bug in Notion that pops up every now and then. And that's how you fix it. You just ask it to check the old string and it fixes it. So always good to know how to troubleshoot. Okay, let's go back to our, that's also one cool thing. You could, kind of gives you a table of contents there to choose from. Let's go back to our blog here. And now we can ask our editor. We have our editor here. Okay, use our editing template to edit the blog here. And if you don't want it to update the page, you can just drop findings in the chat here before making changes. And again, if it does make changes that you don't like and you don't want to re-edit it, you can just go to your version history and you can always just, get it back. And I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like, that's how GLM 5.2 is just ridiculously fast. Ridiculous. It just blew through that whole agentic workflow template in about half a second. That's insane. That's insane. That is faster than Opus 4.8. It's faster than anything I've seen with any model. Ridiculously insane. Anyway, let's see what it found. No keyword stuffing. Good. No keywords. The focus key phrase, but it's not there. Transition words, mostly good. Missing too long don't read section. Okay. Divider usage. All right, whatever. So that paragraph length are good, but if you run, all right. Pricing see, it found some repetition here. Ultra reasoning mode has some generic. There you go. This is why it's good to have a new chat, and you can even use a different model. Title is long, headers. Okay, no internal links, no page links. That's for my blog. No outbound links. SEO elements, tags, whatever. I usually do tags when I post it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Inverted pyramid, but the 3 tiers don't. Information. So it found a lot of things that it can update, and now we can just add yes, apply updates. And while you're doing this, you can go step by step. You could do a mass update like that. So okay, it's just, that's fine. All right. Normally the instruction is for it to internally link to my previously published blogs. That's what that's saying. So it's just gonna go look at my website and do it. Okay. Then the one other thing that we need to do, include external links to the research. So it just blew through all those changes, and you can actually see them. Like, it is actually happening. That's a good way to view your changes there. Just click Show Changes. And again, you know, I'm just kind of one-shotting all these, but you know, you could take you can and should take your time to actually go through each one. You know, tell it what you want. You should be the human in the loop here. But just for the sake of time, because this is going to be hour long, it's already pretty long. We also need to include external links to the research. Okay, so now it's going to go search the page. And that is what is great about the million token context window that these models have. Not that we need it right here, but a million tokens for reference is it's longer than the entire Harry Potter series. Let's put it like that. And they have, and GLM 5.2 has most of the new models all have a million token context window, meaning it can hold a million tokens in its reasoning at once. So looking at one page, easy. But you saw how it looked at 28 different pages there? It didn't need to, but it can. So if you have, you know, brand guidelines, if you have your template, if you have the keyword database, if you have a list of content you already published that you want included, like it just went through, it can look at all of that at once and help you edit. So with Notion AI, you know, you're choosing the model, you're giving it the brain, but it's a writer, it's a builder, it's an editor, it's a researcher. It can do all those things right here in Notion, and that's what makes the business plan so valuable, so that you get all these models included, and you can switch and choose from whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable using. I wanted to try GLM 5.2. Okay, they wrote it. Let's go back to our previous, chat. So actually, you know what? Let's use the editing one. Okay, so now that we know our editing structure, let's write the remaining. I just want to finish writing these for the video. Remaining 2 blogs for, it's called GLM 5.2 open source and Claude Fable 5. The 2 empty pages are here in the content library, and you'll probably be able to find that. So now that it's already gone through its editing structure, let's have it write the 2 remaining blogs here, just so we have our drafts done. And then we can flip them to editing when we edit them. I'm not going to go through all of it right now. As you can see, it found both research pages there. It loaded the blog. There we go. It has all the research and all the editing rules. So now it knows how to edit the blog. So now it's going to write the new blogs based on how it just edited the last blog. Now, in this session, in this chat here, it now knows what to do, and I can actually have it update the editing template based on what it's done, and then that skill gets updated, and you can update that however you want. So to recap, while it builds, and you can switch pages here. We have our content library, we have our inline content library, we have our blog template, we have our blog research, and we have an editing template. And with that, you have yourself a pretty robust blog writing factory. And again, you should not be just one-shotting blogs and posting them in mass. It will not work. Google will not index it. They're getting better with that. They're removing spam networks. So I would not advise just going in here and just, let me write 20 blogs and post them all. Not a good idea. You want to go through the process. You want it to have a unique angle when you're writing blogs. You want to actually spend time editing it. What I like Notion for is that you can draft and edit quickly, and then you can actually parse through it yourself as a human with a brain and eyes, and actually edit it. So anyway, now Now they're both drafted. There you go. Let's go back to our content library. They have everything, should have everything in here. Yep, you see, it did not. So, nope, the update didn't go through. Check old. And this is just, I don't know, this seems to be a bug with Notion. They just, sometimes those edits just don't go through. It's kind of like the annoying thing. Want to know? Yep, there you go. So it's good that you see this happen in real time because, as with any tech or AI, it's not perfect. It makes mistakes, and you need to know how to troubleshoot. And that is one lesson I didn't intend to go over, but as you can see, it happens when you're using it. And it doesn't make it bad, doesn't make it broken. It just means now you know. So if you are updating something and it doesn't go through, you just check the old string, and that's the bug. It'll be nice if they fix it. I imagine they will at some point. I'm not really sure what causes it, but anyway, now it's updating. Now it's fixed. Okay. I mean, they don't have titles that they need, so it didn't include a title. Well, actually, the title is already the name of the article, so this is the title. I just wrote it there. My fault. Okay, so there you go. Now they're edited and written. I normally will read through it. We have our placeholder here, and yeah, when you put it in WordPress, you can go through it some more, and tweak it however you like. Sometimes AI can get verbose and wordy, gets a little repetitive. So you can go through it and tweak it how you want. I see it mentioning GPT 5.6 quite a lot. That's probably something I would, take out a little bit. Doesn't need to be in every header. Like GPT 5.6 isn't every header here. Let's fix that. So, that's why you still have to edit things yourself. That shouldn't be happening. And now that you see it happening, it's in every header. This is why you kind of edit it too much. Keep it in. You don't want it to remove it. It gets a little overzealous. Update our editing template to reflect our new editing. So let's have it. So you go through it a couple times and you iterate. You want to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success in that way. Don't just let AI write for you and edit for you and go post it. Read it yourself. You'll catch things it's doing that it shouldn't be doing, like I just did, putting keyword stuffing in the header. You don't want that. So yeah, you still really do want that review process, but still, this process does make life a little easier, and you shouldn't be publishing 10 blogs a week anyway. Write one good one a week. Call it a day. So yeah, anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. You can see how fast GLM 5.2 is. You can even switch between models for different things here. I'll continue this series, with different, using different models, doing the same thing, just comparing and contrasting how they build and write, and other things you can do in here. Notion is really an infinitely huge universe where you could customize so many things. You can do social media calendars. You can build client hubs. You can use it as a knowledge base, to-do list, project management. Really, a Notion is your oyster. It is just so vast and wide. But anyway, if you're here to the end, thank you. Like, subscribe for more of this, and if you find it helpful, share it with your team. Build one for your team. You now have a lot of insight into Notion. You're a step ahead, and I'll see you next video.